What is up, everybody? This is Tikwe, also known as Richard, and I'm coming back to you with another cost game as the Holy Roman Empire of Seafirst, playing against El Trezi, I guess that's the right way to play it. And the reason why I felt it's worth costing this game is because it's a Holy Roman Empire going against the English, and right now the English is in a pretty decent spot, and I feel like they are dominating quite a bit when it comes to late games, fighting against men at arms from the Holy Roman Empire. They're quite strong knights, really good age up timing. The prelate buffs straight off the bat, so you get that extra 40% farming speed. So yeah, it's definitely a serve worth looking at, the Holy Roman Empire, just because they are in such a decent place. I wish we can make this smaller, guys. It's just such a big display of information that can be basically halved if they wanted to. But yeah, let's continue watching what's happening. So immediately going for 3 on gold, 4 on food. What I've seen other people do is they go 8 on food first before they transition onto gold. But against the English, it's really good to go early gold because they can do men at arm rush, they can do a villager pull straight at the start. But this is quite an interesting English play because you have nothing on the sheep. So he's transitioned into deer. No early wheelbarrow. He actually went for the extra gathering, the what do they call it, hunt. Oh gosh, I can't believe I forgot that. That's one of the earliest upgrades you get to learn. Professional scouts, survival techniques. That's very interesting for the English players to go for that because villagers on the English, you want to go into farms, you really want to not too heavy invest into other options like this unless you are going to rush. And you can see right here, he's not even onto any gold yet. So for an English player that heavy into food and wood without any gold, that's a concern because you're going to get a very late age up and you already lose on your farms the extra gathering speed. It's 10, then 15, I think, then 20, then 35, depending on age, extra bonus gathering speed for your ages. We can actually just double check. I always jump back to the tech tree just to make sure of my facts. So on the English, they get 15, 20, 25, and 30, and it costs 50% less wood, so up to 30% faster by age on the food gathering. And then if you combine that with something like a wheelbarrow and then add the horticulture and those things later on, you really just boom out of control on the food. A lot of games when you really go into late game with the English, you're sitting on 7,000-8,000 food, easily 2,000 food per minute with that English play. So now you can see the microing here on Seafirst going on 7 food villagers, then transitioning into the wood line, keeping 3 on gold, which is perfect. But that's why I say, because you have a late gold, you transition into the food first because you have to train villagers, and then into gold, and then into wood. So you go 8 and send the first 3 over immediately, and then 3 onto, or the rest onto the wood. Now, the reason why you also sometimes want to go double scout is because you want to deny food for your enemy. So if you're, for argument, playing as the English, you want to go into a double scout so you can avoid this type of situation where your enemy is coming back with 8, 19, 12 sheep. You're coming back with 2, so that 12 sheep is going to transition into a very comfortable and safe food supply. And now you can see he's not aging up immediately. There we go. So going for Archon Chapel. So what is good, what is bad about this Archon Chapel? If you're playing the Holy Roman Empire, priority goes food, or actually lumber first, then sheep, possibly berries and deer. So for argument's sake, if this was a big tree line, this would have been a better placement, or right here on top of the deer and the berries if you wanted to have the food. But 9 times out of 10 you want to control your wood line because that gives you such a big boost and economy control, because you can send a single prelate over here to inspire the gold, which is not priority, and then just boom very comfortably with that extra 40%. Now survival techniques is not bad. You can see the English player now sitting on 500 food, 500 wood. If you don't have a lot, see, even like with this English player, he went onto the small wood line first which is not the best thing if you want to control the English gameplay very early on. And if you want this high food and wood, and you had that age up already, you would have been able to train your longbowmen a lot quicker and faster. The Holy Roman Empire, picking up this many sheep, is going to comfortably transition into a possible early castle age, and then push into these relics, which you can see has quite a decent spawn. These two quite close to him, another one right here, so you can pick up 3 relics under 10 minutes and have just one crazy economic boom. But we'll see what C4 does here. I like casting his games because he seems to consistently improve on his game style, and there's always small little things like this which I don't see him do always, even right here, like this type of things you don't see in every single game, but they do come in because you have lost a game to some sort of strategy in the past, and that makes you think ahead in walling here, because now you're securing the gold, extra stone, 2 very big whip patches to save yourself. You have a forward open base, but you can wall that off quite nicely right through here and there, and secure another big pile of gold, 3 actually right here in front. So very good to maybe go for an early stone wall. Even if you stone wall right here, right there, and right here, that would also be a big plus. Now, this is very bad for English to go with this much villagers on a age up, because you want to be microing your food and wood very efficiently so that you don't have a bottleneck on the longbowmen when you train them up. You can see a horseman in queue there, and I would assume that's Holy Roman Empire, yes, and that's the longbowmen as a alternative. So now you have longbowmen versus stable horsemen, and horsemen counters longbowmen. So that's already a good sign for the Holy Roman Empire. A blacksmith very early instead of a barracks for spearmen. It's also a little small mistake. But yeah, if you're playing the English, just saying, this is also not good for the gold, because you can't really go heavy men at arms if you're playing against the Holy Roman Empire, which gets early men at arms before you do. So you have to spend upgrades and resources to get that. You can see now the relic control is happening with these horsemen, and he has the scout right here. So if the English player pushes forward, he'll immediately scout that out. And he's sitting now on 2 horsemen. Now the thing about the horsemen, they have 2 ranged armor already, and they do an extra 9 damage versus ranged. So they don't get a charge like with the knights, but when they go against these archers, which has 0 melee armor, 70 health, they will take, instead of 9 damage, they will take 18 damage per hit. So very, very nice to go for a horseman counter. I would argue that 2 stables was even better. But he's playing very, very good with, getting map control, controlling the relics, controlling the vision, having a safe wall at the back, cutting off the side entries, so he knows his food in gold and wood is safe, because his forward is also protected. So 3 horsemen right here underneath the outpost, and we're sitting on quite a comfortable 11 archers. That is busy. So yeah, you can see the English player has 11 on wood. He's going for a forestry upgrade. No specialized pick upgrade, no mill upgrade. He actually did get the wheelbarrow, which is fine. And you can see here now transitioning, using the villagers to almost pick off the scout there. Also, if you take your villagers and kill a sheep, you get 12 damage on a villager instead of 5. So just take note of that when you are playing the English. And a nice little pull here, very, very out of position for the English player. No farms, which is sad, because he has the safe sheep, he has the safe berries, and he decided to go for a hunt. So he's very adamant on staying on the hunt. And because of that, that's going to leave him very, very vulnerable, like what you see right here, with these horsemen just going to, do a little bit of cleanup. Oh, a double outpost happening. That's That's very interesting to see. A lot of damage coming out of these outposts like that. That's a lot of resource invested there. If you get a quick blacksmith and a siege engineering, or even just go for 8 or 9 men at arms, you can really quickly cut this food supply off, because you don't want the English player to go into castle age and then start countering you with upgraded men at arms. So now you can see 7 horsemen versus 15 or 14 archers. They are going to do quite a bit of damage, but you'll see these archers really quickly dwindle with these horsemen. They will do damage. Like you can see, he is losing horsemen because he doesn't have quite high numbers, and he also doesn't have the blacksmith upgrade, which you can see will probably come in very shortly now. Transitioning into the men at arms, more horsemen, blacksmith upgrade. So yeah, the English player going for a death push of sorts. So he has the men at arms coming out. He has the council hall training longbowmen. Very high gold on the English player here. So a market to stabilize economy would have been good. But I think Seafirst is quite lucky here that the push is not really much bigger than what it is right now. You can see Scout moving forward, and the horsemen, 5 of them won't really do much here. Still no upgrades on the blacksmith. If you want to pop down that blacksmith, you must make sure that you have those upgrades queued as soon as they get out, otherwise it's also a waste of resources. And now you can see a little bit of cleanup happening here on these horsemen. You can see how quickly they're dealing with these archers, still with no upgrade, just very high damage against these archers. And this is good, because even if you sacrifice these units, you can do a small villager peel to deal with this ram, and you wanted to control the numbers of villagers being pulled here, so you don't have to deal with attacks and a ram at the same time. So yeah, the archers are going to do really good against these horsemen, and at the moment it's not really looking good for Seafirst. He's also a little bit long distance shopping, just ran out of food, so now has to transition into more food. Actually going for a readiness. I didn't see the age up here. So this is a conclusion of not having control over your early game, maybe a little bit more units, so you can control these type of rushes. You can see there's a single knight now having to deal with these early men at arms, and a ram, and a few archers at the back training another ram. So very difficult, but the knight numbers and the double stable right here at the back can do very effectively in just building up a bit of a mass before you push in. Also in this type of scenario, take a prelate, get some healing on that knight, so you can just raid a little bit more effectively. A bit of a villager pool here. The lancers will do really good or knights against this army. These are armored units, so you can see they have 6 ranged armor. So each longbow will, is it 6 or 5? 5 ranged armor, so effectively 1 damage each longbowman. They will not do a lot of damage. The men at arms will do, with 10 damage, they'll do 6 damage. So not a lot of damage coming out of these units, and a single knight can probably clean up this whole crew. Because of the tankiness that they have right now. I think he's even scared of losing these units, as you can see, backing off there a little bit, and definitely getting value out of these rams. They have gone in for a bit of a death push here. You can see he has to stabilize with the housing here at the back, and that's why I said early wall here in front would have bought him a lot of time to get these relics in and just play a little bit safe. Now 3 more lancers just stabilizing on the food here at the back with the stables, and those lancers are going to do a really good job. And for the Holy Roman Empire player, if you have this much wood in the bank, take these villagers, drop off all the wood, transition them onto the berries or the stone, because if you pop a keep right here in front, you're also going to have 100% chance of defending this, instead of just going onto wood the whole time, or even going for a second town center. Now you can see these lancers that deal very effectively with these archers, and if he went for spearmen like he's doing here, it was 100% counter against the Holy Roman Empire player. So for a Holy Roman Empire, this is the right strategy, but you want to complement this with either a siege workshop to get at least a 1 mangonel out, or alternatively you have to go into your own archers or men at arms so you can deal with this longbowmen and their abilities. You can see also a blacksmith that was dropped very early from the English player and only had 14 minutes getting the +1 upgrades after the siege engineering. That's very bad because he had such high gold. You can see now the market was used to stabilize his economy, because now he's trying to keep that death push, going for spearmen, archers, and he's gonna lose against this amount of knights, because these knights have the +1 attack damage upgrade, the ranged armor upgrade, and they do 36 damage each, 37 damage each hit. So that's gonna be really good at dealing with these you know, longbowmen. The spearmen will do damage. They do extra. Let's see. The spearmen. Let's just get that spearman selected. There we go. That's a longbowman. If you select all your units, click the unit that you want. You can select them and then you click on them to see the damage. That's +20 damage versus cavalry, and that's just the first upgrade of hardened spearmen. I think it goes up to 29 after the next one. You can see more relics coming in to this Regnitz, and then once this relic is dropped off, these relics back here are probably going to be dropped into these outposts. But I think a scary thing right now is you can see the high stable numbers. But this there's the siege workshop we wanted. This is a bit of a waste, the 5 stables. You really would like to complement your knights with some archers so you can deal effectively with enemy spearmen, because archers counters spearmen and your knights will just counter everything else that you need to deal with on the enemy. And again, a double ram push happening here, going for quite a big comp now. You have to be very careful of this. This is 35 units sitting there at the back, and no real big numbers here. It's just knights that's up right now. Even a little bait with a single knight and running around with your other knights would do really well at this point. And you want to, you know, be careful not to lose your knights, because if he has to lose these knights, he loses the game. You know, these knights are his win scenario, and he's going for a very big death push, the English player here, because the Holy Roman Empire was trying to stabilize on the economy. And you can see now the men at arms coming out. That's going to help deal with this push happening right here. The men at arms are going to do really good against the spearmen, really good against these archers, because they have those the plus armor upgrade. And the knights are just trying to stop the ram, and then they'll deal with the rest. This is also very dangerous. Going to lose a lot of villagers here, because he's inside his base. Should have pulled these villagers a bit sooner. And also the stables, if those many stables were built and not used, you can see now the stables here, 4 knights in queue, but a little too late, because you could have get on 1 single mangonel out, and all of these archers were history. Losing a lot of villagers over here. 43 economy versus 41, so still very comfortable on the same villager count. Maybe a bit of bad macroing on the English player side, only now going over to farms. You know, not very heavy on the wood, not very heavy on anything else, and now trying to get rid of a siege workshop, which is 300 wood, I think. 300 wood, so you don't want to lose this, because that's a lot of resources lost if the siege workshop goes down. And like I said, a single mangonel would make a very big difference in this fight. So he's taking the knights, dealing with the archers, men at arms on the ram, losing the siege workshop sadly, and now sending the villagers forward. But at this point in stage, you kind of know what the English player is doing. He's going to try the same thing again and again, because he still hasn't aged up. You are sitting comfortably with 2 relics in the bank. Possibly going to pick up a 3rd one, I hope. I really hope that there's a prelate out on the map. Sadly, no. You can get it right, just to give you guys an idea, right? You can get so good with the Holy Roman Empire if you are going for a fast castle age like this. Train a few units. to get that early defense, especially horsemen and archers, or men-at-arms and archers, so depending on the enemy team, right? The Holy Roman Empire or Rus, whatever the case may be. A few defensive walls, especially at the back, will buy you a lot of time. Like these ones, be careful of the chop through, because that's very, very silly right now. I'm sad that that's a game mechanic right now. And then when you are pushing for relics, you can train 3 prelates, age up, and as soon as you start the Red Snitz Cathedral, you use your town center to start training your prelates, and you'll have your 3 prelates on top of the relics by the time your Red Snitz is done. And that means that you are going to be getting that juicy almost 400 to 700 gold per minute before 10 minutes of the game, without having to pull the villagers on top of that. Now, the mistake the English player made is he went for men-at-arms instead of spearmen, and unfortunately that means that the knights are just going to slice through everything in this army. And he also is complementing that with upgraded men-at-arms with those heavy maces, so they do an extra +6 versus heavy units, which in this case is the men-at-arms on the English side. And this is just a little too late. You know, you're sitting with the army of 8 lancers or knights. I keep saying lancers, but yeah, knights in the enemy base with the +2 upgrades, and they are just gonna idle out the English player and push him until he dies. Because right now it's upgraded units versus non-upgraded units. It's like fighting butter against a hot stove. You're just gonna get melted. A lot of idle time happening here on the English player side. You can see that deer was cleaned up here at the back, transitioned into farms, and now you can see how much damage these men-at-arms can soak up. With 20 villagers garrisoned, these men-at-arms are not even going down, because effectively it's doing less than 1 damage per shot because of all those range upgrades. You can see how little damage is getting done. It will get the job done, but you can see English player taps out, and another good game for C-First. But yeah, I hope this gives you a bit of insight on what to look out for, where to not spend your resources and so on. And maybe this helps you in the long run in playing the whole game a little bit better. Second blacksmith here. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys, and see you.